Namaste. Thanks for joining me today. We are focused on the first chakra this week. I'm going to go through all 7 of them. So this is a new series. I'm not going to be as informative concerning all the things that the first chakra regulates, because I've been talking about it in the other classes this week. The basic thing that I want you to remember is the first chakra is the foundation of all the other energetic centers. It concerns the foundation of our body. It's the legs, the feet, the process of elimination, the pelvic floor. It governs the skeletal system, the kidneys, and even our circulation. But thinking about, the foundation being our roots, it's really about not just our physical identity and self-preservation on whether or not we feel safe and secure. It's our gut instincts. It's how we survive. It's our survival skills that create self-preservation. So if we're looking at the first chakra and this idea of it, it's also not just about physical identity, but group identity. It's our group identity and how we are sensing we belong. It's our sense of community or communal tribes that we have, as well as family dynamics. And so you guys know I've been teaching like 20 years, and oftentimes I'll come in and share personal stories or personal experiences that I'm going through. And I will say, if I look back and reflect on all the themes that I've given, what tends to make people like stay around and talk to me after class are general times when I'm talking about like family issues, family stuff. And usually there's someone that can resonate with it and they stay after and they're like, oh, I could relate to this or that, what you said about your family or the dynamics of your family and how you feel. So I know I'm not alone in this. First chakra is a big deal for most people. I mentioned the other day that any type of trauma that you might have experienced as a child, if your needs weren't met, if you weren't feeling supported, if you weren't feeling fully loved and accepted, if there was abuse or neglect or a sense of abandonment, then that is like a lifelong process of working through those issues and breaking through those blockages so that you're not held back. And I'm going to go ahead and have us, oh my goodness, look at Paris. She's already laid out in Shavasana on my mat. I'm going to have her move and I will meet you there. All right, Paris, you got to move. You got to move. Come on. You got to move. We are actually going to start off on our backs today. So go ahead and lie down on your back and take the feet apart. Spread out through your upper back. And your hands are welcome to either rest beside you or on top of you. Close your eyes. Feel the contact of the floor beneath your body. And notice which areas are heavier, such as your skull or your sacrum. Maybe some lighter weight in your back ribs and shoulders and arms. And lighter still in your calves and heels. As you feel the support of the earth beneath you, surrender to the degree where your muscles are softening. And this includes the muscles of the face. This even includes the tongue. Notice the subtlety of your breath. A fluctuation of movement you're feeling perhaps under your hands. And then beginning to deepen the inflow and the outflow of your breath. And as you're breathing in and out through the nose, I want you to imagine yourself breathing in a loving red light. When we can envision light in the body, this is what's considered Maya Yoga. Let the red, loving light fill up your lungs. Knowing that the oxygen of the breath is mixing in with our circulation. And this is something the first chakra governs. Imagine this red loving light mixing in with your blood flow that touches each and every cell of your body. And then we're going to start a little bit of a warm up. We're going to blend active and passive postures today. So on your next inhalation, bring the legs together. Point the toes, stretch the arms overhead. Stay in this deep stretch. Continue to breathe in and out through the nose. Continue to walk out through your feet to reach up through the fingertips. And notice how this uplifts the chest and arches the low back, creating some energization. And then as you exhale, draw the knees into your belly and chest. Wrap your arms lovingly around to Apanasana, wind release pose. Now this is going to be the flow of movement. As we inhale, we're going to expand the arms and float the feet all the way up in the air. And as we exhale, we're going to flex through the ankles and separate the legs super wide. Inhale, zip the legs back together, and exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Inhale, expand your wings, lift your legs. Exhale, flex the ankles and widen the legs. Inhale, draw them back together, and exhale, hug the knees to the chest. Continue, inhale, soar the legs up, fan the arms wide. Exhale, flex the feet, and fan the legs apart. Inhale, draw the feet back together, and exhale, hug the knees in. We're going to do this 2 more times. Inhale, Viparita Karani, legs suspended in the air. Exhale, Supta Konasana, wide leg split. Inhale, back to Viparita Karani, and exhale, Apanasana, wind release. This last one we're going to hold. So as we inhale, open the arms, lift the legs. And exhale, separate the feet, and we're going to hold this variation. Now make sure that your tailbone's not trying to curl off the floor. Your sacrum's anchored downward. Your toes are spilling down, your heels are pointed up. And you may get a quivering effect through the inner thighs. That's just those muscles awakening and stretching as gravity tempts us to open up more. Smooth out your breaths. Try to maintain it if you can. Inhale, legs and feet together. Exhale, Apanasana. Now roll to your left side body. Push down into that right hand and then slowly come up. And we're actually going to come all the way up to stand. So once you come to the top of the mat, you're going to want blocks. I meant to say that. Stand at the top of the mat, ground your feet, lock in your legs, bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. As we inhale, the arms are going to stretch up to frame the face. And as we exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Inhale, turn back to face the front. Exhale, rotate to the left. We're going to change this up now. Inhale to center. Exhale, sweep the arms behind your back. Lace your fingers together. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, bend your knees really deep. Fold over. Send the knuckles skyward. And then on your exhalation, just bring the arms down, separate your hands, and allow them to land alongside your feet. Now, sink your sits bones to the degree as if you were sitting on the edge of a chair and folding over your lap. So it's not dangling pose. This is actually a standing form of child's pose. Now you can start to experience the yin element here pretty quickly as our upper body hangs like a rag doll. You can tell how this is a great strengthener for the ankles, for the quads, and your leg bones might start to feel a little heavy laden. But use your breath to stay calm and patient until we're ready to move on. Let's hold 3 more breaths. On your next inhalation, come to Arta Uttanasana. Straighten your legs, sliding your hands up to your shins, reaching out through the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, we're going to be active in Uttanasana today. So root down through the 4 corners of the feet. Keep your legs elongated and fold in half. Drive your heart lower towards your knees without pulling from the arms. Nodding your head yes or no or a blend of both. Closing the eyes. Tuning in to make sure the muscles are firm in the lower body. More relaxed in the upper body. Now, I want you to consider how the affirmation for this pose really ties in well with the first chakra. Firm internally within, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Now I want you to softly bend your knees, not near as deep as the child's position, just enough to soften the knees to be more yin-like. The feet are lighter on the sticky mat. Consider how the yin postures are said to be an emotional detox. Consider any emotional baggage you may be carrying with you that stems from childhood or family dynamics or any groups that you're involved with. And affirm again, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. So the first chakra really is an important emotional center, even though we tend to think of the emotional center being more in the hips where we push the emotions down, or in the solar plexus where the emotions tend to relate back to the organs or even to the heart and the matters of the heart. But it really all begins with the root chakra. Let's set our intention to reduce any emotional baggage, any limiting beliefs or ideas, so that we have a healthier, more productive root chakra. Now, on your next inhale, we're actually going to step the left foot back. And when we step the left foot back, we're going to immediately sink the back knee and untuck the back toes. And what we're doing is we're melting the pelvic floor towards the front heel. You can stay stacked on your arms and hands, and you're welcome to bow your head. So one thing that we're working on here is releasing the iliopsoas muscle on the left leg. And this is a muscle that attaches the two halves of the body together, beginning at the legs, moving up to the hip, and going to attach to the low back. This plays a role in our reactions on whether or not, when we're stressed, if we go into fight, flight, or freeze. Something that I want you to work on or to meditate with through this practice is taking your tongue to the upper row of teeth. And you're going to touch with your tongue each tooth on the top row, beginning on the left and working across to the right. Go slow, notice how it feels, and notice how each tooth is a little different. Once you get across the top row of teeth, begin on the lower row, begin to the right, and work across to the left. Once you complete the run of the teeth, let your tongue settle and relax. Now we're going to move on to the next pose. We're going to take the blocks And we're gonna push into the block so that we back the hips up and we lift the right toes off the floor. We're moving towards a half split. So your blocks can turn to different heights and you can just lean forward. You might be able to take the hands to the ground or buckle the arms to fold deeper. But remember, it's really not about how high or low you are. It's about finding a place where you're feeling you're receiving something, but still able to control your breath. So I've told you guys the story behind this pose before, but one of the morals of the story is to ensure that we're taking leaps of faith. We're taking risk if we feel like we need to from our gut or from our intuitive guidance, because our intuition never steers us wrong. When we take leaps of faith and we take risk, then we're believing in possibilities. And so you can affirm mentally within, I choose to dwell within infinite possibilities. If you ever study quantum physics, it's kind of a little mind-blowing because it starts talking about multiple universes, multiple timelines. In essence, just infinite possibilities that exist. All right, now this is going to be a little tricky, you guys. Just do your best. We're going to take, you can use your blocks or your hands to slide back because we're going to sit in half saddle. Now, I do realize that this isn't great for everyone's knees. If you need to stack a block up underneath your seat, if you need a blanket to go just underneath the right side to create more evenness, then do that. I'm going to take the bolster behind me for a moment, and you can grab yours and place it behind you. Take a moment just to make sure you're on the top of the left foot. You may or may not feel a deep stretch in the knee or the quads quite yet. You may feel it pretty strong. So if you're feeling it pretty strong, I don't suggest doing much more than this. If it feels good to you, then you can lean back on your bolster like this, or you can simply lean back into your hands like we would in hammock pose. Another option would be to turn the bolster long ways and to roll down upon it. So I know this is a deep stretch for the top of the thigh. And this goes back to the stomach meridian, according to Chinese medicine. The organ and meridian can be disrupted with stress and worry. If you tend to have a lack mentality, or if you have noticed someone near and dear to you has a lack mentality, this actually stems from the first chakra. Not feeling like you're enough, not feeling like you have enough, not feeling like the universe can provide enough. Basically, it stems from feeling unloved and unsupported at a younger age or in certain phases of your life. So think about washing and rinsing stress and worry away, trusting that all your needs will be met. Let's take 3 more. And we're slowly going to build right back up. If you have that bolster behind you, keep it there because we'll eventually go to the other side. But you'll need to use your hands and your core strength to work back again into your half lunge. So you're just kind of shifting your weight forward. Your blocks can be set ahead, hands down, curl the back toes under, and we're stepping into plank. Now that we're in plank, let your arms be strong like columns. Feel that current running through the left leg now. And then exhale, push back away from your hands into downward facing dog. Spread out your fingers. Create some space between your ears and shoulders. Take one more inhale. Exhale down to your knees. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale, curl your toes. Inhale, lift to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. So this is our vinyasa flow for the mix today. Breathing in, breathing out and down to the knees. Breathing in and coming into upward facing dog. Breathing out, curling the toes. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do that again. Take a deep breath. On the out breath, sink your knees. On the in breath, untuck the toes, drop the hips, elevate the heart. As you exhale, recurl the toes. As you inhale, form plank. And as you exhale, downward facing dog. Now from downward facing dog, we need to inhale, step the left foot through, forward and up between the hands. Give yourself assistance if need be. Sink the back knee, shin, and foot. And we're just going to pause here in the half lunge or dragon. The pelvic floor is sinking, melting downward. So whenever you're feeling pockets of tension or that pronounced sensation, wherever the stretch is impacting the body, consider looking at it as holding that red, loving light. Hold it 3 more. And this is where you may want those blocks because we're going to transfer to that half split. And after holding these poses for a period of time, sometimes we feel somewhat stuck in it. So take your time, moving slowly and cautiously back, straightening the left leg, residing on the heel, lifting the toes. Feel free to stay as high or drop as low as your hamstrings allow. Continue taking deep breaths. And this time as we hold the position, I want you to recite the seed mantra for the first chakra, which is Lam, Lam, Lam. And just repeat it with each breath you take. Walk the hands closer to you. Use your hands, blocks, or core strength to come down into your half saddle on this side. This side I'm way wonkier. So I'm going to put a blanket underneath the left side of my seat. If it's your knee causing you the issue, try taking a block under your tailbone. And then just sit here for a moment. Don't rush it. So I'm already feeling a lot more sensation on this side than I did the previous side. Yours may be less. Remember, the right side's the masculine side. I had an epiphany this moment that I think mine is going back to, just being concerned about my father's health, being concerned about my uncle who had a severe car accident. He hit a wall. He's been in the hospital for 3 weeks. And then his brother fell from a ladder and broke 9 ribs. And then my other uncle landed in the hospital with the stroke, paralyzed on his left side. There's been a lot of things impacting the male energy in my family. So it's showing up here. If you want to test the waters, right, just to lean back into your hands, to drop onto your forearms. I'm not going to go any lower than this on this side. Remember, we'll be here for a little bit. Calm, smooth breath. Really bring a nice relaxation response to the body, even though you're feeling the work. just like it can help to calm the mind. So use the breath for your benefit. Think about when we're carrying around any emotional baggage, it can affect our work, it can affect our relationships, it can affect our attitudes. Just a few more breaths. And then inhale, slowly start to build your way up. Move any props from underneath us. Use our hands and core strength to lift out of our seat, to walk it back towards that half lunge at the front of the mat. The toes are going to curl. We'll pick up the back knee. Lose the blocks. Plant the palms. Step back to downward facing dog. And then on your next inhalation, we'll go ahead and travel the feet forward towards the top of the mat. Lifting up halfway when you arrive, and then exhale, lower. Soften your knees since we held the active form longer than the passive form at the beginning. Opening up space for the kidneys. Opening up this urinary bladder meridian. Releasing anything that holds us down or back. On your next inhalation, sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead. And exhale, bring hands to prayer position at the heart. All right, we're gonna change something up. I was gonna do it against the wall, but we're gonna come sit down on the floor. And we're gonna take Dragonfly. Now, if you have wall space, if you wanna lie down on your back, have the legs up the wall and split wide open, you can do that. Otherwise, you can set up like this. I want to show you that if you're limited, because I know this is a tough pose. If you're more limited, you can angle the bolster this way and put it right up underneath your forehead. If you feel like you can go lower, you can create Stonehenge in front of you and fold over like this. So you can lean further ahead, hands to the brow, or folding over like this. Of course, if you're more limber, you can remove the blocks and just go down to a bolster. Find your happy place today. It tends to shift around sometimes. So in this pose, close your eyes, and I want you to consider how we're talking about root chakra today. I want you to consider how we have to have strong roots in order to grow. A tree can't grow and thrive if it doesn't have solid roots. And one of the ways we continue to grow is to evolve. And that sometimes means changing our minds or attitudes or opinions or beliefs. And that usually comes more with experience and the wisdom we've gained from our perspective. So consider how the affirmation for this pose is so beautifully stated for the first chakra. I will accept everything that comes my way as an opportunity for further growth. I will accept everything that comes my way as an opportunity for more growth. Take 3 more breaths. If you decided to use the wall, you're going to exhale, bend the knees, and you're going to twist the knees over to the left. If you are joining me in an upright position, Then take a moment just to come back to a cross-legged seat. And we'll inhale, lift up, and exhale, twist to the right. If you're lying down at the wall with your knees to the left, inhale, bring the knees to center, and exhale, cross them to the other side. If you're sitting with me, inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, release your hands, and twist all the way to the left. If you are at the wall, roll back to your spine and send the legs straight up the wall. If you're sitting upright in a twist, unwind first and then determine, do you want legs up the wall or would you rather create a slide? So you can create the slide with your 2 blocks and bolster. And this can be your final position. And of course, if you prefer the wall, you'll look like this. So whichever one you determine is best for you today, take that. And let's let the hands rest on the belly today. The hands resting here can be quite grounding. And take some deep breaths after you've chosen your pose. Realize the root chakra is our first understanding of love and support. It is vital on our journey in life. And it's not too late to heal any old wounds. As we heal any blockages, then we're in essence helping the other chakras or energy centers as well. For it all begins at the base, at the roots. When we learn how to master our emotions, then we are more willing to blossom. And then we can emerge like a lotus. So think of the root chakra as being like the muck and the mud that's required for the lotus to exist, to grow, and to thrive. So if the root chakra represents the muck and the mud, you can see how the stem of the spine can work like the stem of the flower, and the crown of the head like the actual lotus sitting above the water. In your mind's eye, picture this in your body. And picture a white lotus with 1,000 petals at the crown of the head. Let each breath nourish you for the next few minutes. Hearing the sound of the mindfulness bell. Draw your knees in. Turn to your left side body. And come on up to take a seat. Join your hands together to prayer. May we all walk away from this practice being more free and at peace in our bodies, hearts, and minds. May we all walk away this practice with less emotional baggage and believing in infinite possibilities. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.